Did you hear that? The Dumbwaiter's here! This is Group 6 in our presentation on the Dumbwaiter story and text. Here we have our overview. Next we have our plot walkthrough.
We are going to zoom into the particular details of the story to help us better understand the play. Let us look into characters for a minute. First, we have Ben. He's a rough, older man who is a veteran in the hitman business. He can be described as aggressive and impulsive. Next, we have Gus. He is a younger man who is newer to the business. Some describe him as someone who's talkative and curious. Ben is the dominant of the pair, with Gus being more docile. Finally, we have Wilson. Wilson is a more mysterious character, but he is described as the informer for their job. He reminds me of Godot in Waiting for Godot, as they are constantly waiting for this mysterious man to call them about their job, and they never see his face. The inciting incident happens when the dumbwaiter arrives, requesting a food order. It creates more tension and mystery between Gus and Ben and the dumbwaiter.
For this section, we're going to go into the script and get a deeper look into the overall theme and how it relates to the dumbwaiter as a whole. First, we look at the dumbwaiter as a communicator. The dumbwaiter represents something bigger in the story. On page 15, we read the following interaction, Gus and Ben going back and forth. Gus says, 1 bamboo shoots, water chestnuts, and chicken. 1 char shoe and bean sprouts. Bean sprouts? Yes. Blimey. I wouldn't know where to begin. Gus is stunned and ashamed of himself for not knowing these complex orders from higher up, supporting our theme of unrest between the wealthy and the poor. The dumbwaiter represents that communication between the two classes, however. From up above, we hear the complex and demanding orders from the wealthy, and the poor underneath them try to make what they can to further support the wealthy class. Next, we have the phrase, light the kettle, an important factor in our theme. On page 8, Ben gets very angry at Gus for saying light the gas instead of light the kettle, with the line, nobody says light the gas. What does the gas light? After this, Ben starts choking Gus. This increased anger after just a simple phrase is telling of many things. 1, it exemplifies Ben as the dominant person. 2, it foreshadows the ending. And 3, it gives us one of our first looks at the mindsets of Ben and Gus in relation to their social status. This is followed up on page 17, right after Ben speaks through the tube. Oh, you know what he said? Light the kettle. Not put on the kettle, not light the gas, but light the kettle. Using our previous analysis of the dumbwaiter, we can conclude that Ben wants to fit in with the higher class, for example, by using their language. In an effort to escape his class, however, Ben must turn a blind eye to a fellow worker, even going so far as to end his life. Finally, the repetition of words and actions. Throughout the play, we see many instances where words and actions are repeated. Taking a look back at the beginning, Gus finds an envelope of matches under the door, and we witness this interaction between Ben and Gus. Well, they'll come in handy. Yes. Won't they? Yes, you're always running out, aren't you? All the time. Well, they'll come in handy then. Yes. Won't they? Yes, I could do with them. I could do with them too. You could, eh? Yes. Why? We haven't got any. Well, you're always cadging matches. From these lines of repetition, we can see how Gus really feels about himself and Ben. Gus is self-conscious of himself and his financial situation. Because Ben is the dominant and more experienced person, Gus is looking to him for reassurance in not just the matches, but his life in the lower class as well.
And now moving on to our production pitch. Our director's concept is that Dumbwaiter is a show that explores the themes and dynamics of the upper and lower social classes. In the show, the lower class is viewed as a dumbwaiter being controlled by the upper class under lock and key. Here are our 2 key components, costume and set, and our first key moment. And for our second key moment, we are addressing when the dumbwaiter opens for the first time. A light will shine above the dumbwaiter when Gus opens it, and inside will be an elegant, expensive jewelry box. Inside this jewelry box will be a gold-colored envelope with a red wax W seal on it. We chose to have these elements to emphasize that everything associated with Wilson is significantly more expensive and luxurious than anything Ben or Gus have. And here's our conclusion. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We are Group 6. Peace out.